Okay, I'm going to go over some of our features for the Traffic Analyzer plugin. This is kind of the main screen. A lot of traffic analyzers are going to give you general ideas of stuff. We have something similar to that here. If you look at the insights, this is going to show you the top refers, real-time visitors. These are people that have been on your site within a minute or so. Search words, that's all basic stuff. It's pretty cool. But what's more interesting with this plugin is the specific analytics you can look at to really pinpoint specific users and seeing what they're doing. So this is just the IP log that shows everybody coming in. You can see this number here is how many times this IP has visited us. This is the first time or returning time. This is where they came from. This is the first page they went to. This is the page they viewed from. And this is the last page they were on. And if you have an advertising campaign, it'll put the UTM source here so you can figure out which pages or which users came from advertising. And then you can check to see how effective your advertising is doing. So let's say you wanted to zoom in. You could click on this user. Well, this user happens to be me. So if you go on here, you'll see I have been clicking on a bunch of the WP admin stuff here. And we'll go back here because that's not so interesting. But what you can do, and here's something that's interesting. So if you click on a user that has 155 visits, that's usually pretty suspicious. So if you look at the web pages they're trying to view, see if you click on that, it'll take you to the page that they looked at, which in this case doesn't exist because what they're trying to do is exploit the website, find a plugin that has a bug in it that lets you take over the website. All these different files here are files that are known to have bugs or security holes. So if you see something like this, you probably want to click ban. It's very simple, just ban it, and then that's it. This ban, I have another plugin that's free it's just a very simple banning program, and if you have that installed, this ban option will show up in this plugin. It basically just modifies your htaccess page and prevents anybody with that IP address from accessing your website. So you can get rid of people like that. You don't want to have some guy that's just constantly running scripts to try to break in your website, obviously. So best to just get rid of those guys. You can also just, if you click on any session, it filters out that, so that way you can see one person's specific journey through your website. For instance, let's say somebody's coming in on your homepage, then they go up to your product, and then they look at another product, and then they click buy, and then they don't do anything after that. That might mean that they saw the price of the product and decided not to do it. You can get a lot of information by, how people are actually clicking through your website. What you can also do here is, if you want, go here. Also, any IP address, like I said, my IP address was floating around here. If you don't want to see your own IP address, or maybe some guy just hits your site a lot and he's not interesting to you anymore because you've already seen what he's been doing, you just hide that IP address, and then it doesn't show up on your list anymore. So you can slowly start cleaning it up, and that way you can look at more specific people. Also, forgot to mention, this is the bot. So if a Google bot hits, it'll tell you if it's some sort of bot or some other crawler, and this is the time that they hit. What you can do too is you can click here to hide bots. We don't have any bots here, so it's not really important now. But if you click on only referrers, that'll show only people who have come to your website not through your own URL. So these are people who have come through Google and gotten to your website, Here's another website that points to pluginhatch.com that people came through. So this way, if you want to look at, for instance, Google's an interesting one because you can click on them. You probably want to see one that has more than one. This is the 53. See, this one here is another pretty suspicious user. They're trying to find a Perl script. This is something, again, I would just ban that. And then go back to only refers. But you can kind of figure out the benefits of just seeing all the refers, going through Google and seeing what pages people are getting to from Google, what they're doing when they get there. There's also an only advertising traffic here. This basically looks at the URL and sees if it has a UTM in it, which is a code that a lot of advertising people, companies use to keep track of the URL. So they'll send you to a specific code there. If you mouse over, you can see the full URLs of any of these, by the way. So in this URL, you can see that UTM. That's just basically something that keeps track of where your traffic's coming from. That's like Google Ads would have links like that. So on top of that, this is pretty much the most interesting part of it. We've also got the insights, which I showed you. We have IP management. So this is basically if you accidentally hid somebody that you didn't want to hide, you can just come here and unhide them. And we have maintenance. This is tracking every single IP address that hits your website in the database. So depending on how much space you have or how much traffic you have, the logs can get pretty big. See, ours are right now at 7,000 entries, which is about 4.67 megabytes. So if you want, you can just start cleaning up stuff here. It's just basic management. If you start realizing that these things are getting up to like 10 gigs, you might want to get rid of anything older than 90 days or 5 years. Depends what your situation is. But that's pretty much it. You can go to pluginhatch.com and buy this online. And we'll be constantly updating this as well. And like I said, there's the ban IP plugin that's free that works with this.